How long you been down?
Down 36 years. My value system was I was a criminal. I was a vicious, violent criminal, and I needed to be incarcerated. I'm honestly saying I needed to be incarcerated because I pose a threat to public safety in so many different areas. I did everything pretty much bad under the sun.
What's your name? Where you from, brother?
My name is Irvin Terrell Tatum. I'm from the Bay Area, Richmond, California.
How long you been down?
Down 36 years.
36 years.
Yes, sir.
How different are you today than when you first walked into this prison 36 years ago?
I'm a much different person now. I'm a God-fearing man. I changed my value system. When I was out there, I was 19 years old. I was involved in an attempted carjacking, resulting in the loss of somebody's life. And came to prison when it was rocking and rolling, when it was very difficult. They had racial lines and a lot of corruption with the officers. It was just a lot going on, and God gave me the power to survive through it all, you know.
Yeah.
My value system back then, in 1988, I came in prison in 1990. My value system was I was a criminal. I was a vicious, violent criminal, and I needed to be incarcerated. I'm honestly saying I needed to be incarcerated because I pose a threat to public safety in so many different areas, and also influenced people that was looking up to me to be the same way I was. Yeah. So fast forward me coming to prison, you know, I've been in and out of ASIG, solitary confinements, and I used to sell drugs in here. I used to be violent towards people, cell phones, manipulate women. I did everything pretty much bad under the sun. However, when I'm gonna say my change was like divine intervention. I felt like God got in my spirit and made me question myself. Why did I do this? Why did I end up here? And I went back to my childhood and I realized where it all came from. And I started peeling back those layers of the damaged, the wounded person that I was, and how I masked those wounds with bravado and aggression and hostility. And once I started peeling those layers back, I had to kind of treat it, had to come up with my own little antidote, I should say. I started reading different books. The Four Agreements was instrumental in my change. Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. I read a lot of books that was dealing with healing and positive content, and I mentally digested, and it treated my mind, it treated the sickness that I had in myself. And when I started treating my sicknesses, I started healing. And then I started changing. My value system changed. I used to value money and attention from negative peers, and then my value system changed. I started valuing life and other people's, having consideration for other people and valuing myself. And once my value system changed and shifted, you know, I became a better person.
What's the defining moment for you in your 36 years of being incarcerated that puts you on the path that you're on right now?
Well, my defining moment was, like I said, when I was in solitary confinement, I was in Pelican Bay SHU. The defining moment was God in my spirit and made me question myself. And once I started asking myself all these different questions. It was like God was giving me the answers to those questions. And every time I had a fork in the road to either go left or go right, I said, let me just try to go right this time instead of going left. Because I tried going left and it didn't get me nowhere. So every time I had that fork in the road to make a decision, I said, go right. And every time I kept going right, taking that right exit to do the right thing, good things started happening for me. So I was like scratching my head like, man, I should have been doing this right thing. And then I just kept going right. And I started asking people that was on the path to recovery, like, what books you read? And they said, I read this book. I said, can I read that book? I started borrowing books from people that's in my community, positive books that they read that changed their life. And I started mentally digesting these books. And it started doing some things to my mind and kept me on a positive. It got me on a path. And it just like, I was treating my mental condition and not even really knowing I was treating it, you know what I mean? Because I had antisocial personality behaviors in those books and also people as well, and self-help groups, they helped me change my mental condition, you know? But the defining moment as far as when I knew I was dug in, and I was really dug into my changes when, you know, I'm working out because I pretty much stay active as far as basketball, football, working out. So some young dudes, you know, I peel my shirt out and they see me, I'm all ripped up, chopped up at 50-some years old. They like, and they don't even believe my age. So they like, hey man, you motivating me, man. Because I always say something positive to them, I work out, and they started calling me Mr. Motivation. I said, you know what? I said, if I ever get found suitable for parole, I'm gonna take that with me. And I might be a personal fitness trainer or do something where I can motivate people.
Yeah.
I might do some speaking engagements to motivate people. I said, I'm gonna use that name. I appreciate y'all giving me that name. And every time they see me, hey, what's up, Mr. Motivation? And it made me good because somebody seen something good in me. For the first time, somebody seen something good in me that was positive. You know what I mean? And I almost kind of like, I almost wanted to cry. However, I did cry when I went to my parole board here in last month. And I got found suitable. After 36 years, they found
Really?
me suitable. Yep.
Congratulations,
February
family.
4th.
So you have a date?
I don't have a tentative date, but they grant me suitability. I gotta wait 90 more days for the whole process. And
Okay.
I'm gonna be transitioning on up out of here and continue my training as a certified drug and alcohol counselor in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And I wrote like 5 books. I haven't got them published yet, but they're just book manuscripts dealing with the understanding of criminal mentality and rehabilitation solutions. I wrote another book called Trouble to Transformation to Triumph, How to Live, Survive, and Be Resilient over the Adverse Experiences of Incarceration. I got another book called Insight and Perspective. So a lot of my books is dealing with positive content. It's dealing with like how you rehabilitate the criminal mindset.
Yeah.
So in these books, I'm not trying to make money off of them per se, but I'm gonna give a couple of my books out for free just so I can send them to jails, prisons, so people can mentally digest some of the content that I put together from my experience, and hopefully it'll be the antidote to treat their illness.
Gotcha.
You know.
I got a couple questions. Anything you don't want to answer, feel free to just say, move on. No offense taken at all. You would consider yourself to be mentally strong?
Absolutely, very strong and resilient.
If you were to look back, now knowing how mentally strong and resilient you are, what could you have been?
I think I could have been wealthy, not only financially wealthy, I think I could have been wealthy as far as being a good leader in the community, a good business person, a good philanthropist. I could have been many things. But I needed this experience because this experience told me how to value life, how to value what God blessed me with, how to value my strong mind that I got. I needed this experience to be able to appreciate things that's out there in a free society.
But for the young brothers who are maybe on the cusp of one day ending up in a similar situation as yourself, right?
Yes.
How do they arrive to that point without losing almost 4 decades of their life? How do we expedite the process of the understanding that you now have?
I would say education is big, but read positive content that's going to keep your mindset in a positive direction. Don't follow the short-term gain for jury, money, the girls, the attention from negative peers. Follow people that's positive, that's doing good things, because there's a blueprint to success. The blueprint is right in front of you.
Yeah.
People that's doing good and not coming to prison. So if I had to do it all over again, I would follow those role models that I see successful. Not just financially successful, because success is a multi-layered thing. It's not just finance, it's just about being a successful community leader, being a successful father, being a successful brother, being a successful friend, being a good friend, and that all pays off, because when you're doing the right thing with good intentions, you're gonna get blessed with something good.
Yeah.
It's just the laws of nature. When you're doing something negative, bad intentions, ain't nothing good gonna come from that, period. It's just the laws of nature, cause and effects.
How did you not lose hope?
Inmate Thompson out of 5 long loss. Report back 5 long loss. Thompson out of 5 long loss. Report back 5 long loss.
At one point in my criminal career in prison, I was almost on the verge of losing hope, because I was seeing people in prison. I was sentenced to 33 years to life. I was seeing people on the yard that had 7 years to life and was down 20 years. So I said, I'm gonna probably die in here. Let me just immerse myself in the criminal culture, and let me try to manipulate as many people I can for my selfish greed. Let me try to make much money as I can by bringing in drugs and selling drugs. And so I almost lost hope, but what gave me the hope to be a better person is when I had that divine intervention, when I was in solitary confinement. When I had that divine intervention, because I wasn't trying to change. It wasn't something that, I need to change to be good to go home. No, it was like God, like I said, God inside of me, and made me question myself. And that question sparked the change in me, and I started following that path. And like I said earlier, when I was at that fork in the road to either do the wrong thing or the right thing, to go left or go right, I said, let me try going right this time. And I just kept going right. And I ended up here. I'm a level 3 override. I'm actually a level 4 prisoner. I came from Calipatria level 4. I got a behavioral override because my behavior has been positive and constructive, and God got in somebody's heart and mind, say, put him in this program. Because I didn't fill out the application to be a part of this counseling program. Somebody spoke my name and got the wheels in motion, and I'm here being trained as a certified drug and alcohol counselor. Fast forward some months later, I go for my parole suitability hearing for my second hearing, and they found me suitable after 36 years.
What's the first thing you're doing when you touch down?
My daughter's gonna come pick me up. I want to hug my little baby, because when I left society, she was 3 months old. And
I got it.
now she's driving a car, got kids of her own, so I really want to spend some quality time with her.
What does fatherhood mean to you?
Fatherhood means to me being responsible, being respectful, being a good leader for my family, being a good provider, being a good role model, just really, you know, and really, and not only just being a father to mine and my grandkids, but being a father to people that ain't got fathers. Other kids out there that's fathers that might be dead or in prison, I gotta be their father too. That's my responsibility. I feel like I got a social responsibility and a moral obligation to do that.
Have you forgiven yourself?
It was a very hard thing, but I have. I've forgiven myself because I come to realize that I'm a flawed human being and nobody's perfect, so I had to forgive myself for being that flawed human being. However, I try to make as less mistakes as possible. That's why I say I do everything with good intentions. As long as I do everything with good intentions, I know regardless how I come out on the end of it, I know that I gave it my best. And I did it with good intentions.
Respect, brother.
Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate you.